Hi everybody, this is Judy at Judy in the Kitchen. Today I'm going to show you how I like to cook beet greens. Now I have some beet greens here that I can honestly say are not the best. These were the best I could find at the store at the time, and they're a prime example of what not to buy, but that was all that was available. And you can see that they're quite wilted and old and just not the best looking, like this leaf won't be used at all. I bought them primarily for the beets. Anyway, when you cut these off of the beet roots, you want to leave about 2 inches or so still attached to the beet root, and that helps to minimize the bleeding when you cook them. So I'm going to salvage what I can of these leaves. I'm just giving it a rough cut initially, and I'm going to take these to the sink and wash them up, and then I will cut them down from there and get them ready to cook the way I like to cook them. So we're just going to give them a good bath first. Alright, they've all been given a good bath. And now what I'm going to do is cut these stems up into bite-sized pieces. And I'm actually going to keep them separate, at least at first, from the leaves. Why am I doing this? Because I want to allow them a little more time to cook than the leaves. We're at the stove and I have my skillet heating up over just a little above medium heat. Now there's different ways that you can do this, and you can do this any way you prefer. We're going to do like a saute in them with a little bit of water added to them, or liquid. You could use a little bit of extra virgin olive oil or oil of your choice. You could use vegetable broth. You could use water. I like to use vegetable broth at the moment. Since we just moved, I don't have any that I've made on hand. So I'm going to use just a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. You see, that's not even a tablespoon, just a teaspoon or two. And I'm actually going to add a little bit of water in there with it. I like a little bit of fat in there. Now I've got 3 cloves of garlic that I've chopped up, and we're going to add those to that. And I wanted to allow the stems to cook a little bit on their own first before adding the greens, because they will take a little bit more time to cook than the greens will. So we're getting them started a little bit early. So if I had vegetable broth in here, it would be a lot better than just water, because it would give it some flavor. So, but anyway, we do with what we have. And you can add some seasonings to this, whatever you want. For me, I like to keep greens simple. I like them best with just some garlic in there and a little bit of pepper. So we're going to grind up just a little bit of pepper on them. And you can add some salt if you want. I'm going to add a little bit. You don't have to, especially if you have vegetable broth in there. That will take care of any saltiness that you want to add to it or not add to it, whatever you want to do. And we're just going to allow these to saute a little bit. They're just barely getting started. Just barely. I'm going to turn the heat up a little bit, and we'll touch base as these cook. Alright, these are cooking, and as you can see, that water is disappearing fast. And we don't want them to burn. So I'm going to add just a little bit more water as we go. There is no exact measurement here. You just add a little bit as you need. I don't use a lot of liquid when I'm doing this. Just enough to keep them from burning. And you can see these stems are starting to cook, but I do want them to cook a little bit more before I add those greens in there. Alright, these have cooked for roughly 5 minutes or so, and they're beginning to be like a crisp, tender, and it smells really good. I'm going to add what little bit of greens I have to this. And just so they don't burn, I'm going to add just a little bit more water as we go. We're going to stir these in there. And just kind of stir steam them just until they wilt. You can add a little more seasoning. I think I'll add a little more pepper to this. Now, because all of these can be eaten raw, you can cook these as little or as long as you want until they are to the desired degree of tenderness or wiltiness in the greens that you want them to be. To me, these are fine. They have not cooked very long. The greens have been in here for only about 2 or 3 minutes at the most. Really not very long. Here's our finished beet greens with stems and garlic, and it's yummy. I have the directions below. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. This is Judi at Judi in the Kitchen. Bye for now.